Hi, my name is Simon. I live in the Cohousing, and what I like to do best is hang out with my best friend who lives right next door to me.
It's such a gift to have this little spot and to be able to offer it to other people.
Co-housing to me is like pure connection.
Hi, my name is Dimitri. I live in the co-housing. It's a very nice place, and this place is a lot of fun to be at.
Yeah, so Bristol is a really wonderful, small community where people kind of really know each other and really support each other. I mean, we're sort of a microcosm of that in BVCH.
I really wanted to live in Bristol Village. I had lived in Bristol earlier and then had left and really wanted to be back right in the village.
Coming to the co-housing was a big step for me. I, being an introvert, was always falling into the same trap that a lot of Vermonters have, where we are very much workaholics and are working 3 to 4 jobs to make a living and to live in our homes that we live in. And that usually amounts to the fact that you finish work, you go home, and you don't necessarily socialize.
Yeah, so I've been living in Vermont since 1979, and I've been living basically in the woods, either in central Vermont or in the town of Essex. And you know, as time went by, I felt more and more isolated. I had to drive everywhere that I went, and I started to feel like I wanted to be in a more walkable community.
My family moved here to co-housing in 2018. We moved here from rural Virginia. We started off with the idea of co-housing in more of an eco-village format in Virginia. We were trying to start an eco-village there, and we have a teenage daughter, and we really wanted her to be able to experience what it's like to have a kind of a social community that works together for common goals.
You know, the people always surprise you, and you always love them wherever community you find. And I'm just so stoked that I ended up here in this community with these compassionate people. So community for me is all about the people. It's all about, you know, if you're walking home, you run into someone and have a conversation about your day and they actually care.
And so for introverts like myself, it is a very helpful mental aid. There's support anywhere you look. The fact that we have emails that can be sent to the entire group for needs is so beneficial. When I got COVID in January and living by myself, I was frankly pretty worried about not having really enough food stock. And the fact that food just kept showing up at my doorstep really showed me the depth of devotion that each of us has for each other.
Hi, I'm Martha, the meals maven. And welcome to our kitchen where we have community meals and all kinds of other events. We have this amazing facility that can handle 3 or 4 cooks at a time, which is exactly what we do when there's a community meal. We have cooking teams and they plan the meal, they plan the menu, they do the shopping and the budgeting, and they prepare it and clean it up. And some of the best times that people talk about in this community are the times when they cook together. It's totally the best conversation that happens because you have whole families there, so you get to talk to the children that you might not have seen for a couple of months. And you get to talk to the elders that you might not have seen for a couple of months over wonderful food. I love this job. I love everything about it. There is a person in this community that I have never had a long conversation with ever, except when we were making pies together.
So one thing that's really neat about Bristol Village Cohousing is that we've got 3 acres of land and there's little bits of property around most of our homes. So we can do whatever we want. We call them yards. This is our yard. So we wanted to do something different and we did.
Both of us have traveled in Asia and I've been wanting to do a Japanese garden for 50 years. And so finally, here's the culmination of my dream that we made happen together. We think it's really cool and we love taking care of it.
There were several areas that were shown on the plans to have needed to be dealt with. One was in front of my unit over by the peak house. There was a large swale and the water just rushed and flooded and puddled and didn't have any good way to go. So we chose to put in, rather than connecting to the drains into the street, we chose to deal with the rainwater on site. We installed 4 large rain gardens on the property using native species that attract insects and birds to the property. And we also installed dry wells on the property as well. All of this is to manage the rainwater that comes, which has certainly been more and heavier because of global warming, and it has dealt with the problem completely. And all the water stays on site and goes back into as groundwater.
Hi, I'm Sarah and I live in that house right there, and my husband and I are so lucky because we live right next to the south meadow, which we have let grow the way it wants to support the pollinators and all the insects. And we also planted ourselves 8 fruit trees. This is one of our apple trees. And we have 2 apples, 2 pears, 2 peaches, and 2 plums. And it used to be wetter because this was a retention pond. It's at the south end and all the water used to come down here. But then we put in a dry well. All the water now goes down, sinks in below the frost line, and now we have a pretty dry meadow, except when it rains. So we love our meadow, and thanks for watching.
So it was pretty clear very early on when this community was developed and we all got together that we had to figure out how to deal with the work. It was clear to us as a community that everybody was expected to work. It was also clear that we're all very different. Some of us have jobs, some of us don't, some of us have more physical capabilities than others, and to ask everybody to contribute the same amount of work didn't make sense. So we decided that we would ask everybody in the community to contribute between 5 and 25 hours a month according to their needs and abilities and other expectations. The other way we deal with work is Workday. And Workday is designed to take care of bigger jobs. Things like periodic repairs, or something new that's being installed, or a gardening project that's a big one. Recently we've had a lot of problems with our paths having weeds grow on them, and so our last Workday was devoted entirely to weeding paths.
So my name is Barbara Deal, and I live at Bristol Village Cohousing, and I'm the coordinator of compost. So the way it works is, I'll just take you through it, is people in the community, when they have garbage, they come and dump it into this pail right here. They put it in there, and then the compost team decides which compartment of the Joras to put it in. These are medium-sized Joras, and we bought them from California. They were designed by one of the Scandinavian countries, so they're very oriented towards cold weather. In general, this is how it works. So whoever's on the compost team comes out, gets the compost from the community, and then the green clip here, the green clip just means that's the one we're using that day. And all 4 of these compartments are in different stages of compost. And the reason it works well is because people in the community are great, and we ask them to cut things up in small bite-sized pieces, is the rule, and not put any meat or bones. And people are great, and so it works out well.
Our infrastructure here at Bristol Cohousing is pretty highly efficient. All of our units, our residential units, use heat pumps, electric heat pumps. In fact, the entire community is really electrified. Our existing buildings, our common house, the Peak House, as well as one of our other residences, both of which are from the 19th century, were retrofitted to use heat pumps as well. We do have solar panels across the community on most of our buildings. We also lease a solar array on the Lyric Theater in, I believe that's South Burlington. Combined between our residences and the Lyric Theater, we are right around 100% of our electrical needs come through the solar panels.
So I just wanted to share a little bit about our efforts, continued efforts at sustainability here at BVCH. And a couple of years ago, we chose to install an EV charger. We've added a second one as well, and in efforts to, be more sustainable, be more thoughtful, and we have several members of the community who either have EVs or hybrid vehicles, plug-in hybrid vehicles. Home chargers are great. Share them, and had plenty of visitors and friends come and use them as well.